Hello and welcome to this video on extracting essential oils with a pot still. Distillation is not only used for extracting alcohol, and particularly when we're talking about a pot still, it has more applications than just separating water from ethanol. Going back centuries, there have been various methods used to create essential oils, some being as crude as to crush products until the oil seeps out. This is still used to some extent nowadays when we're talking about olive oil. When referring to something like an essential oil, there are more efficient and effective methods of separating out desirable products from the solid mass. Distillation is one of these and is perhaps the most common commercial process in use today. The specific method used is not the distillation you might be familiar with when we talk about alcohol. Rather, this is steam distillation. Steam distillation takes the advantage of mechanical and chemical processes that occur during distillation and allows steam to carry off lighter aromatic compounds. The process, in brief, involves placing some sort of botanical or oil-rich product into the still. The chamber of the still is then heated and pressurized. The steam from this is then forced through the outlet on your still. This carries with it those aromatic compounds. The second effect of using a highly pressurized and heated still chamber is that the heat forces the expansion of those products. This means more oil can be extracted than pure mechanical force would allow. The escaping material then evaporates and comes out the other end along with steam. This can then be refined further. The primary benefit of doing it this way is that by using the distillation process, you wind up with a relatively pure mixture of water and essential oil. In order for this to work, remembering it is both a chemical and mechanical process, you need to have enough heat in the water to not only release the essential oils, which often need to be vaporized, turning them into a gas as well, but also have it so it's not so hot that it damages the plant material, which would then, in effect, cauterize, sealing the oils within it. Once your oil has condensed and come out of the line arm, it will sit in the water initially, because the two are warm and somewhat miscible. But as they cool, the oil will float to the surface while the water will sink to the bottom. This separation will give you a specific combination of oil that can be extracted that is relatively pure, a very thin layer of miscible water that is not pure, and then water. This gives you an easy way to separate out the oil. That means you go from having a relatively pure product to having a nearly pure product. Since the water remains largely usable, you can continue to recycle it. This means material used in the extraction of essential oils is more economical than other methods. This is one of the main reasons why steam distillation is used. Second to this, it can be scaled to a certain extent as far as you want to go. Finally, the products that are produced are nearly pure and can be readily separated into a more refined product for consumption by the wider public. Because it uses chemical and physical processes, it's applicable to a wide range of oils and essential oils. The few possible exceptions are primarily those around citrus fruits. In order to distill your own essential oils, you're going to need a still to start with, and if you're already into brewing, there's a good chance you may already have one. You will need a pot still, not a column still. The column still, to an extent, can be modified for this to work, but you run the risk of damaging it. You are best using a copper pot still. In some cases, there'll be advice to use a stainless steel still, but depending on what you're trying to do in the long term, this may not be economical, and you have to make do with what is available. The process is simple enough. You place your plant material in a basket inside of the boiler of your still. This needs to be raised up from the bottom of the still and sit above the waterline. Have enough water in your still to cover the bottom half or thereabouts. Remember, you're going to get an approximate yield based on the amount of water and plant material you're trying to extract from. As we've previously demonstrated, attach your inlet hose to your still, your outlet hose to a sink, and place a line from the line arm into your collecting jar. In this instance, use a wide-mouthed jar, that way it's easier to separate out the oil and the water. Once you have everything hooked up, you have your water in the still and your plant material in a suitable basket that won't melt, and that's important. Begin heating it up. Put your top dome on the still and make sure it's locked down in position. You'll gradually begin to read the temperature of the water as it approaches 100 degrees. Make sure as you hit the 90 to 95 degrees centigrade mark that you begin the water flowing. This will ensure that the condensation in the line arm is going to happen. If not, you're going to create something of a mess, as the condensation won't allow the oil and steam to evaporate as efficiently, and you'll lose a lot more product to gas into the general area you're working in. The simplified version of what is going to happen in the chamber of your still is this. Steam will be generated. This will create small clouds or billows of steam that rise up and pass through the material. This does two things. First, it heats the material, which causes it to expand. This allows oil to both leach out, but also steam to penetrate further in to the material. Second to this is that because the steam is rising, it will carry with it heated aromatic compounds from these plants, or plant material. Because you're not trying to be selective in what you're taking out of the plants, you don't need to worry about exactly how much temperature, pressure, or anything else is applied. All you're worried about is getting that heat to cause those essential oils to rise with the steam. Eventually, they get to the top of the dome, where they then enter the condenser arm. In the condenser arm, they encounter cold water, where they then turn back into a liquid state, this being the combination of water and volatile aromatic compounds that will make your essential oil. These then cool down, become a liquid, and fall out of the line arm and into your collecting vessel. Unlike our video on distilling, where you can see the ability to select for specific alcohols by monitoring the temperature and modifying various factors, that's unnecessary here, and largely won't be of much benefit unless you're trying to extract specific elements from the essential oils or create a very refined essential oil. If that's the case, then this is really not the most appropriate method. By now, you should have been able to generate a jar full of something that's a mixture of water and oil. It's worth noting that when you are doing this, not all oils will be lighter than water and therefore float. Some will be heavier, and you should be aware of what you're trying to extract and find out what its weight actually is relative to water. This will tell you several things, the most important of which is whether or not what you want will be at the top of the water, the bottom of the water, or mixed in with it. While you're doing all of this, there are several things you can do to try and make this a more efficient and easily approached process. The first is use plant material that is fresh. There are several reasons for this, but the most important is that it's going to be more rich in oils and it's going to be more easily penetrated by the heat and steam. This means that you'll be able to get more yield out of less material. Every 4 cups of material, whether that is leaves, stems, roots, flowers, or whatever you happen to be using, are only going to yield approximately 5 to 10 milliliters of oil. This means you may need to either plan ahead or change the approach you're taking with specialized holders, nets, and so on to allow you to use more fresh material. A trick you may or may not know from cooking is that if you are to chop the material up into smaller, finer sections, this means you can put it through a blender, cut it very finely with a knife, or crush it in a mortar and pestle. This will increase the surface area. The more surface area means that there's more surface area relative to volume. This leads to greater penetration of the steam and heat. That means better extraction of oils, or at least a more efficient extraction. There is a diminishing return on the larger the products you are using, and this is one reason why it is a good idea to do some preparation of your plant material before extracting it. Finally, there are two considerations with the water you are using. First, if it is tap water, you should be okay, but be mindful that it may have bacteria or other harmful contaminants. These are unlikely to be an issue as they're not likely to survive in the essential oil for very long. Your other concern is that if you are using tap water, and the tap water happens to have minerals or other contaminants within it, you are going to have alterations in how well it extracts everything, and also possible buildup of lime scale and more in your still, especially if you're using a copper still. The various metals in the water, such as calcium, will bind with the copper, but it will also interfere with the extraction of these oils. It's one consideration to look at and one reason to consider using distilled water. In short, extracting your own essential oils isn't that hard. Getting enough to make it worthwhile can be far more challenging, and often requires a bit of preparation and planning. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it interesting, consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. Please post any comments, questions, or suggestions that you might have below.